Hi, Grace Judson here with another video installment from The Leadership Geek. And today I want to talk about how when people are stressed and anxious and consistently grumpy or gloomy, everyone's mood is impacted. And right now, pretty much everyone is stressed and anxious because whenever you're watching this, I am recording it while we are really just in the very fairly early stages of the pandemic here in the United States and across the world, of course. But even so, maybe you have that one person who is always a naysayer to everyone else's ideas or suggestions, or maybe whether because of the stuff going on right now or some other reasons, there are some rumors going around about what is going to happen at work. Whatever it is, how should you manage this? Because, oh my goodness, it really drags down productivity as well as everybody else's state of mind and motivation. I mean, I have watched my own state of mind slide straight downhill if I listen to too much of other people's anxiety, anger, and fear right now. So I'm not saying we all need to be chirpy and rainbows and glitter. That would be silly because there are challenges and difficulties in life. And right now, especially, things are especially challenging and difficult. But we don't have to make things worse than they are. So, what can we do about it as a manager? What can we do about it when it's happening on our team? Okay, first, make sure your emotional content is upbeat. Like I said, I am not suggesting you should force yourself to be happy and chirpy. There are times when serious, concerned, and even anxious are appropriate depending on the situation. But when you, as the manager and leader, set a tone of we can and we will get through this for your team, everyone's state of mind and ability to cope will improve, including yours, as a matter of fact. Remember, they look to you to help them navigate through the situation. Second, before you take any kind of action to coach the especially downbeat negative employee about how they're impacting the rest of the team, remember to be sensitive to what might be going on for them. Like I said, as I'm recording this, we are dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. So most people are feeling a lot of very justifiable anxiety, fear, and uncertainty, right? But if you're watching this after the pandemic has passed, and it will pass, or even in the middle of it, you need to think, as always, we always have to manage our team as the individuals that they are. So setting aside questions of what is very legitimately going on. Have they changed recently from being a reasonably positive person to being gloomy and negative? Maybe there's something going on in their life that you don't know about. They might have suffered a loss, a family member or a friend might be ill, whether from the coronavirus or something else, or they may be going through some other sort of difficulty in some way that you're not aware of. And remember too, that some people struggle with clinical depression and anxiety. And if you've never had to cope with that type of challenge, it's easy to discount the seriousness of it. So it is important to remember that first off, you are not responsible for anyone else's personal problems or state of mind, but you are responsible for being a compassionate and reasonable manager. It can be a fine line to figure out how to help someone and not overstep into meddling or trying to be a counselor, which of course is way inappropriate and can get you into some serious trouble as well. I'm including a link down in the video description for an article I wrote a while ago called But What About the Baggage? Referring to the reality that we all have baggage and just how much as the manager do you have to take that into consideration. Okay, getting back to your especially naysaying, especially negative employee first. Like I said, confirm that there's not something serious going on for them above and beyond whatever is going on in the world and in your organization. So if there is, then your job is to be supportive, not critical. I cover some thoughts on that in the video here, also link it, which is also included in the links down in the description. And all really, as always, anything I say here or anywhere else, adapt what I say and what I suggest to your specific situation. If you decide that you need to talk to this person about how they are impacting the team, with any feedback you give someone, you need to have this conversation in private. I cover the process of giving constructive feedback in detail in this video, and I've included the link down below in the video description, as always. So I won't go over that again here, but be sure it's a private conversation. And interestingly enough, since that's easier now, since we're all working from home, right? In this conversation, you want to gently encourage them to view things from a more balanced perspective. For instance, if they're always pointing out what could go wrong, can they also start looking for and communicating on what might go right? As with any feedback, any kind of coaching, make sure they know what success looks like. It could be that anytime they point out a problem, they also suggest a solution. Or if they're the kind of person who always jumps in to tell people what they should be doing, they only give advice if they're specifically asked for it, and so on. We are in difficult times right now as I record this. I am not even for a minute suggesting that people who are anxious about what is happening should be told not to express that anxiety, but there has to be a balance to it. There has to be, they cannot use the team and the office, whether remote or in person, as an outlet for their personal anxiety. They need to be encouraged to find other places to express that if that is what is going on for them. Perhaps your company has an employee assistance program that they can take advantage of, whatever it might be. But if they are impacting the team's well-being, both from the standpoint of being personally respectful of other people's boundaries in terms of how they talk about what's happening, and from the perspective of the well-being of the team in terms of how the work is getting done, they need to be encouraged to find other outlets for their concerns. Managing negativity on your team is always a delicate challenge because you can easily slip into making it about the person instead of about their actions. So you need to remember, always stay away from any kind of comments on their personality, and remember to keep it specific about their actions. So instead of "don't be so negative," you want to say something like, "your criticism of other people's ideas is creating tension on the team." Have specific examples of what they've said to help clarify things for them. And finally, always remember to appreciate the positive and cheerful people on your team. It is easy to forget, but they would be delighted to hear how much you enjoy their positivity and how they have an uplifting impact on the team. It is so easy to be critical of things that are not going the way you want, and to forget to be appreciative of things and people that are doing what you want, behaving in ways that are helpful. The gloomy people certainly bring the mood down, but the happy people are great for improving everyone's state of mind. So that's it for today. There are a lot of resources for this down in the video description, so make sure to check those out. And if you liked this, as always, please remember, click that thumbs up button, subscribe, share, leave a comment about any aha moment you had, or ask a question. Hey, if you disagreed with what I'm saying here, let me know. I am always happy to answer questions and to have a conversation about how to manage these types of issues. Take care, be safe, stay well.